It says we're live. Okay, we're live. Ryan, I can't see your face. It's overexposed. You're too bright.
Well, I got to be able to see.
There you go. That looks good. Can you see all right? Because we can see you better.
I can see fine. I can see my food okay. There's enough light.
Okay. Today we're doing Proverbs chapter 10. If we follow the trend at all, we're going to do 10, 11, and 12. But if you're watching this video after it goes live, you'll already know in the title. So, yeah, there's that. Ryan, do you remember what we talked about in the previous Proverbs?
No, can you give me a recap?
I was hoping you'd know. I feel like it's been so long since
Should I rewatch every episode before the following episode?
Yes, you got to go and click on the playlist, which we made, and watch every single episode.
I should have done that today, and I didn't think about it, but next week I will do it next Monday while I'm working. Wait, I'm not working next Monday. Well, I'll do it during the day next Monday.
Well, I'll give a general recap of what I know. I can't say this was the last chapter, but I know that Proverbs has been talking about this a lot, which is listen to wisdom.
Yes.
Be wary of sinful people, people who want to lead you astray, evil women.
Yeah.
Stay upright. That's more or less what he was talking about here.
It's been a lot of time talking about evil women.
Oh yeah, it's been an unusual amount of time saying watch out for evil women, like several different times. And more importantly, it says, certain people will invest all that they have into these evil women and into the world, and they'll invest in building somebody else's kingdom instead of staying to their own. And so the first bit of wisdom that we get is listen to wisdom, and the second bit of wisdom is be happy with your own stuff. Get married quick, have a family. Don't go chasing after what the world sees as fun.
Yes, amen. And you did that, Jeremiah, and I did not. And I admire you for that. I was very confused at your age. I didn't know who I was or how I was supposed to be. But I admire you for getting married young and starting a family young.
We all take our own paths. Okay, without further ado, Proverbs chapter 10. Ryan, I know you like to read these. I also know you're eating. Which one would you choose, food or the Bible?
How about the first one? I'll just listen to you read.
Awesome. I finally get to read for once.
Yeah, you should read.
The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father. Hold on, I'm not screen sharing. You should all have your own Bibles opened up in front of you, but if anybody's like me, it doesn't matter how many times I tell you, you're still not going to do it. So
True.
all those who still haven't, open up a stinking Bible. Or if you still haven't, I have it right here for you. So
let's Bible shame these people.
Huh?
Let's Bible shame them.
Bible shame them. Hold on. If you're gonna Bible shame them, you gotta do it right. And the Lord, God's word striketh thee. I love the extra large King James Bibles. If you can see it there without the glare. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
There, you can see it without the glare. I love these things. The print is so big in them, and it is awesome.
What kind is that?
What do you mean, what kind?
What brand? What publisher?
What brand? Walmart? I don't know. It's a King James version. I don't know what brand it is. I just know it's a Walmart Bible.
See, I got this one at Hobby Lobby, and this one was published by
A Holman?
Christian Art Publishers. What?
It says Holman.
Oh yeah, Holman. Yeah, that's a good brand. That's a good brand.
It's a good Bible. It's it feels high quality. I mean, I don't personally recommend this one over the other one, but I mean, it's a Bible, so read your Bible. Of course, it's a King James.
This one is a lot smaller, and because I wanted to keep on my nightstand, and if you know me, my nightstand's always crowded, so I wanted to get a Bible that didn't take up a lot of room.
Beautiful thing about this is look at that binding.
It is beautiful.
You can put that on your shelf and be proud of it. Okay. Back to the Bible study. I have it right up here for everybody. The Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
Yeah.
Treasures of wickedness profit nothing, but righteousness delivereth from death. The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. So what's he saying there?
Yeah.
He's saying the symptoms of being rich.
Don't be lazy.
Well, more than that, if you look at all these verses, he's saying he's giving the symptoms of a wise person versus a foolish person. He says a wise person makes his father glad. The foolish is the heaviness of a mother. I'm not exactly sure what heaviness, but maybe like is her like stress or like worry.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
The treasure of wickedness profit nothing, but righteous delivers from death. A wise man who's righteous delivers from death. Now, I know wise people aren't going to do as many stupid things, and therefore they're not going to be, they're not going to kill themselves off Darwin Award style, but I don't know exactly what that verse is getting at. But it says, the Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish. The Lord won't suffer the soul of the righteous to famish.
Which means allow, yeah.
He won't allow them to famish. What's famish mean?
To go hungry.
Okay. High vocabulary man over here. I see you. You're overexposed again. Did you turn on a light?
No, I didn't.
The further back you get, you're good. But you're still bright on this side. Do you see it in your own camera?
Mm-hmm. I do see it. I don't know. There's a little bit of setting sunlight coming through my window, but it's not bright at all.
You look way better when you sit back.
If I sit back, I can't eat.
Okay. Anyway, so verse 4, he becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. So the foolish become poor and lazy. But the hand of the diligent maketh rich. The wise is going to work and become rich. It doesn't even say the one who works. He says the diligent.
Yeah.
Diligent is the person who stays mindful, the guy who thinks. And I mean does as well. But mainly, like I want to point out, it says diligent, not just hard worker.
Do you know what story this reminds me of?
Oh, there are so many. Which one?
I'm sure you're familiar with the grasshopper and the ants. And it's basically saying, be an ant, not a grasshopper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he that gathereth in summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in harvest is a son that causeth shame.
Yes.
Blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. So again, we're looking at what happens when you're wise and what happens when you are foolish. So the first few chapters are saying, listen, stay upright, be wise. Now we're getting into a chapter that says, here's why you should be wise. Here's what happens when you're wise. Here's what happens if you're wise. Well, wise versus foolish. Blessings come upon the head of the just, but violence covers the mouth of the wicked. You know some people who have some pretty violent mouths?
Mm-hmm. I do. I mean, I have some old friends that it's hard for me to talk to them sometimes because they're throwing out the F-bomb left and right. And
a violent mouth is a sign of a wicked person.
Yeah, I know. And I've tried to tell some of them, it's hard for me to listen. That the closer I get to God, the harder it is for me to listen to that kind of language. It really is. But I love them, so I try to overlook it or see past it. But it does bother me after a while.
So I want to shout out, we have a heavily moderated chat today. Thank you, Ryan, for asking them to come out here. We got Tim and Quaker. Hi, guys. Nice to see y'all.
Great. I'll bring it up on my phone. But I
Yeah,
want to say something else, if I may.
go ahead.
I'm eating a chicken quesadilla from a local taqueria and a locally owned, authentic taqueria. I live in an area with a large Hispanic population. So, those of you who are watching, if you live in an area with a large Hispanic population, chances are you've got some really good, authentic taquerias around you. So, if you do, don't go to Taco Bell. Please. Don't go to Taco Bell if you've got those places around you. They're so much better and they're so much more authentic. Anyway, I just wanted to make that little PSA right there. You can go back to reading if you want.
Okay, I'm getting everything set back up. Okay. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but what is that? A prating? A prating?
Oh, prating. Didn't we look at that? I think prating means you just jabber, right?
I'm gonna look it up. Hold
I
on.
think it does. I think it just means you're. I think it means you're jabberjaw.
What does prating mean?
Prating likely means talking excessively and pointlessly, often
Yeah.
about trivial matters. It can also imply that someone is speaking in a foolish or annoying manner. For example, you might say someone's prating on about something when they're dominating a conversation with unnecessary details.
Okay,
Yeah, I know people who do that.
I'm one of those.
I can be that way too.
I'm too talkative and will bring up unnecessary details.
I do
I'll take the blame there.
that.
The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. Uh-oh. He that walketh upright. Huh?
Is it stepping on your toes?
Whatever. I mean, I'll listen to it, but we're going to keep going. He that walketh upright walketh surely, but he that perverteth his ways shall be known. He that winketh with the eye causeth sorrow, but a prating fool shall fall. What was that right there? He that winketh with the eye shall sorrow. What is that?
Sometimes it is hard to glean the meaning out of some of these. You know what prating means? Winketh with the eye. Maybe somebody who's kind of shifty-eyed, maybe a little dishonest. Somebody that's got an ulterior motive or something. I'm just gasping at straws here because, literally, if someone's winking with their eye, what are they trying to do? I mean, what are they trying to tell people?
I'm trying to look at it. Deceitful and foolish behavior is what I got out of the internet.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I guess like you ever said, hey, we didn't do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You ever heard of that? I guess that's kind of what you're getting at.
But one of the things that confuses me about the archaic language is that it says one negative thing, but another negative thing. Whereas, like, wait a minute, the but is supposed to mean that the next thing you say contradicts the first thing. So it should say, and a prating fool shall fail.
Well,
I mean, but kind of contradicts.
No. It doesn't. Because here's the thing. If I had to remodernize it, I would say, he who deceives and keeps quiet shall cause sorrow, but someone who jabbers on too much about the extra shall fall.
I would say but that's just a minor thing there.
And is adding on to, but is showing the contrast. It's saying if you're too quiet, you can be an issue. If you're too loud, you can be an issue.
Okay.
It actually makes a lot of sense to have the word but here, in my opinion.
Okay. I guess I get it.
Yeah, because I'm showing opposites. I'm saying if you stay too quiet and deceitful, that's wrong. You're going to hurt people. However, or but, which however is just a higher vocabulary word of the word but, however, if you talk too much and you spill too much and you just annoy people with all your foolish sayings, then
Yeah.
you're gonna fall and hit the ground. So one, you're gonna cause pain to others, but
Right.
jabbering on makes you look like a fool. So it's kind of like
Hurt
being in the
yourself.
middle. Don't be deceitful, but instead of just keeping, instead of just keeping, how do I put it? Instead of doing the opposite of keeping your mouth shut, don't jabber on either. Kind of like that.
Okay.
We here at this Bible study, we're not afraid of not knowing something and looking it up. And I will check the comments every once in a while. So if you want to post down your thoughts on a verse, if you think we got it wrong, please do. Tim, you can yell at us if we get something wrong.
Jim, you can say something there in the chat if you want to throw in your opinion. Same thing with Jim.
Okay. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. Did we not read that already?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, verse 12. Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. So he's showing two complete opposites here. He's showing the foolish person versus a wise person. And then he also clears up some things, like we just saw. Being quiet isn't always the most, wise thing to do. And, because it could be considered deceitful. So people who quote the Bible and say, well, saying nothing is, wiser than saying something. Well, you can show them Proverbs chapter 10, where it's like, hey, if you did it in an attempt to be deceitful, then no, you caused sorrow. Verse 13, in the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found. So it's saying those who know stuff, you can find wisdom. But a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. So those who are ignorant and know nothing, those people are often having to be punished. I wonder how many people go to jail, and like if you just surveyed them, you found out that they didn't know much. I just gotta wonder.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know those statistics, but just curiosity. Did you have something to say?
No.
Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. So a wise man listens and understands and studies knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish, so a foolish person talking, is near destruction. You can destroy yourself. You can fall due to what you say. Which is why it says, people who jabber, people who just talk too much about the random stuff, you end up leading to your own destruction. Which is why one of the things I've been trying to focus on is talking less. Letting other people say stuff. Because I accidentally dominate conversations all the stinking time.
I do it too.
The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. The labor of the righteous tendeth to life. The fruit of the wicked to sin. So it's saying the labor of the righteous, they take care of their health. At least that's what I see it as. Tendeth to life. They take care of their life. They take care of health. They take care of other life. The fruit of the wicked is sin. So what do the wicked do? They sin.
Yeah.
Foolish people are oftentimes wicked, and the wicked sin. That is the labors. That's the fruit of their labors. He is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuseth reproof erreth. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. So if you hideth hatred with lying lips, you're a fool. If you're angry at somebody and you hide it, you lie to them, say, oh, no, nothing's wrong. You are a fool. I know many people who to your face, they'll say, nothing's wrong. And then behind your back,
yeah.
And he that uttereth a slander. So behind your back, he slanders you. To your face, he's saying you're fine. To your back, he slanders you. That person is right here a fool.
Jeremiah, you know that it's a very large part of Southern culture for people to be nice to your face, and behind your back they talk trash about you.
Oh yeah, they have a curse word down here in the South. It's
Yeah.
called "bless your heart."
Yes, they do. But that's very much a Southern cultural thing that people will be nice to your face. Behind your back, they drag you through the mud.
Up north, people just cuss you out.
Yeah, they're at least, they may not be as friendly or hospitable, or they may not have that Southern hospitality, but they tell it like it is. If they don't like
Verse
it,
19. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. But he that refraineth his lips is wise. What in the world? In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. Interesting. Let's go back one more. He that hideth hatred is, and gossips, slanders, is a fool. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. So I think this is another one of those. So we had two bads. Now I think we have two goods.
mm-hmm.
In one, if there's a multitude of words, so that's either one person talking a lot or a bunch of people talking, there wanteth not sin. So wise people who talk together don't want sin.
Right.
But he that refraineth his lips is wise. So it's saying if you refrain, okay, in a good situation, not to be deceitful, but if you refrain and let other people speak, you're wise. But where many people speak and share ideas, there is not sin. They want not sin.
Yeah.
So they're talking about the accountability of two Christians talking to each other, two wise people talking to each other. Two wise people who are good will come together and, I don't know, make the Constitution, where they set up laws that are all good.
Yes.
But, however, on the same side, because that's talking a lot, if you keep your mouth shut and let other people speak and listen to other people's ideas, you're considered wise. So I want to reflect on, was it verse 11, or it was a little higher up, I forget where it was, but it said, a foolish man who stays quiet brings sorrow, but if he speaks a lot, he leads to his own falling. But then you see here a wise person who speaks and shares ideas gets rid of sin or wants not sin, but a wise man who stays silent is considered even wiser.
Yeah.
So it's this point of, how do you speak? A wise person who doesn't speak is not doing it to cause harm. A wise person who speaks is speaking in a multitude where they can share ideas. A foolish person who doesn't speak is doing it to hide something.
Yes.
And a foolish person who speaks is ending up hurting themselves in the long run.
Yes. Digging their own graves, or digging a hole for themselves, they call it.
I find that really cool how they have this parallel.
And they keep talking, and the more they talk, the deeper the hole gets. Yeah. By the way, that was a delicious chicken quesadilla, and I'll tell you, it's about a quarter mile from a Taco Bell, and I'm so glad I went there instead.
20, verse 20.
Verse 20.
The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. The lip of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. It is as a sport to a fool to do mischief. You ever heard of the cow tippers?
Mm-hmm.
It is as a sport. I love this. It's as a sport to the fool to do mischief.
Yeah.
But a man of understanding hath wisdom. A man of understanding, a man who is wise, isn't going to make a sport out of mischief.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I remember I always wanted to be with my brothers, and they started doing, in my opinion, very stupid stuff. And one day I stopped asking because I'd beg and beg and beg as the little brother, let me come along. He'd be like, no, no, no. I stopped asking eventually because they started looking really foolish.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my brother came to me because, reverse psychology or whatever, and was like, okay, I talked to my friends. You're able to come with us. And I said, I don't want to be a part of you guys. I had realized, I had matured enough to realize what they were doing was stupid and foolish. And I'm not saying I was wiser than them. I just didn't want to do that.
My older brother did dumb things as a teenager, and he didn't include me because I was just a little 8 years younger. That's a big difference when you're and so he really didn't have much to do with me. I guess I'm kind of glad because he might have been a bad influence on me. I know one time when we were living in Florida, he was caught throwing littering along the side of the road. The police officer put him in the back of the car and brought him to my dad. Said, I just want we found your son doing this. And my dad said, tell him to go pick it up. Make him pick it up. Tell
then
him
drive him back out there and have him pick it up?
Yeah. He said, tell him to get back out there and pick it up. That's what my dad said. I just remember that. And that's what a good dad would say.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't say, oh, try to be nice to him, be easy. I don't know. He said, well, if he was littering, tell him to go out there and pick it up.
I'd do the same. I'd be like, dude.
I had, yeah. By the way.
Okay.
I'll tell you later. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Verse 24. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation. So when hard things happen, the wicked will be no more, but the righteous will be able to withstand it. As vinegar to the teeth, and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. What does vinegar do to teeth?
It rots them, doesn't it?
I don't know. Never heard of vinegar on teeth. Nobody recommends it to me.
To me,
what does vinegar do to teeth?
Vinegar can be harsh on teeth due to its acidity. Regular exposure to vinegar can erode tooth enamel, making teeth more sensitive and potentially leading to cavities.
Yeah.
If you consume acidic beverages or use vinegar as a health tonic, it's a good idea to rinse your mouth with water after.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, I would just common sense would tell me that, it would erode your teeth. Yeah.
Well, I know, and it says, and as smoke to the eyes. And I know smoke to eyes, that's horrible. That's painful.
Oh,
so is the sluggard to them that sends him. So pretty much if you're an employee and you have a sluggard, he's like smoke to the eyes or vinegar to the teeth. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days. So earlier in Proverbs, I think it was chapter 9, it said the fear of the Lord is to hate evil.
Yes.
Whenever we hear fear of the Lord, we can say hate evil. So when it says the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, to hate evil is the beginning of wisdom.
Yes.
And it says here, the fear of the Lord prolongeth days. Hating evil prolongs your days. And I can say that right now. Yeah, totally. If you hate evil, you hate, being an alcoholic, and, if you hate the idea of an alcoholic, and if you hate, sleeping around, if you hate the homosexuality and you put yourself upright, you're going to live longer.
Yes.
Because these things that are wicked, these things that are evil, they're not just evil for no good reason. They're evil because they cause harm. Like if you look at the 10 Commandments, all of the 10 Commandments directly have something bad that happen if you do them.
Yeah.
Okay. The fear of the Lord. Okay. The day shall, okay. But the years of the wicked shall be shortened. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard a good example of this. I think I need to get rid of those ads. Be great. Nobody wants to see baby diapers. Okay. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright. I saw this thing that said, one is clay and the other's butter. Okay. Let's just say the Christian's clay in this example, and the butter is the wicked. Okay. The sun hits both.
Yes.
One of them strengthens and hardens and becomes usable for construction, and the other melts.
Yeah. Yeah.
They both look the same. They were both rectangular bricks.
They're
One
both,
hardens,
being
became
affected by the
strength,
sun.
and the other one liquefied. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the worker of iniquity. The same thing, the way of the Lord will strengthen one and destroy the other.
You know, when that thing happened to me in 2019, I could have become clay, or I could have become butter. For a while, I did become clay because I was hurting real bad, and I was just constantly in misery. But God said, "Trust me, turn to me, and I will make you soft like butter." And thankfully, I'm butter now. And
Well, you're using the analogy backwards.
What? The butter gets
The
soft,
clay is
the clay gets
Christian.
harder.
Yeah, we were referring to clay as Christians because the Lord, the way of the Lord, strengtheneth. Butter melts away.
Well,
You're using it backwards. Some people use the analogy the opposite way, where you soften up and say, "Oh, well, you harden your heart and you soften your heart."
that's what I've heard. And
Yeah.
it says strength.
To those who haven't heard that and they just heard mine, you got it backwards. Because I was saying the way of the Lord strengthens, not softens. The way of the Lord strengthens. So I was saying a Christian is like clay, soft and mushy, but when the way of the Lord hits them, when the sun hits them, they strengthen.
I guess there's two different ways you can look at it, because I look at it like your heart grows softer if you respond properly. It grows harder if you respond improperly.
Yeah, but
You
again,
can look at it different ways, you know.
well, so the fact is that one's one way and the one's the other way. You can do whatever you want with the analogy, but you got to pay attention to the analogy. I was saying the way of the Lord strengthens. Does sunlight strengthen butter? No. Does sunlight strengthen clay? Yes. So I was saying the way of the Lord is like sunlight hitting clay.
I got you.
You've probably heard that saying elsewhere. I've
heard it said, and the way I heard it said was, you know, sunlight hardens clay like hardening a heart. But butter, it softens like softening a heart. So, I mean, there's different ways you can look at it.
You know, it never says that a Christian's heart is supposed to be soft and mushy.
It does say harden not your heart, and it says to be tender hearted. The Bible does say to be tender hearted, so it's kind of soft.
Potentially. I know that bad people harden their hearts. I know that, and then God hardens the heart. I know that. But like, it's not soft and mushy. Because God does talk a lot about being upright and, straight and, stuff like that. So I don't know.
Like I said,
either way, there are parts of us that are supposed to be meek, and there are parts of us that are supposed to be, tough. So
hi, welcome to our show. Welcome to our study.
Yeah. So it really depends on which way you're looking at it. Again, analogy is analogy. If you pick it apart, eventually it becomes irrelevant. So quit picking apart my analogy, Ryan.
All right. You're always right, the right one. I'm not.
Oh, I'm always right. Yeah.
Do you want me to read the next? Are we done with that?
We're not done.
Still got a little bit. Okay. We're reading it really slow.
Righteous, the way of the Lord. Okay, verse 30. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom, but the froward tongue shall be cut off. The lip of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. Okay, so this entire chapter was saying wise people get these results, wicked, foolish people get these results. And so from chapter 1 to 10 was mainly saying you should be wise, stay upright, don't do these things. And then in chapter 10, we get a switch in tone. It says, here's the symptoms of being wise or being foolish. If you are a wise person, these things will happen. And if you are foolish, these things will happen. And so, yeah, like we grow and we can learn a lot, but we haven't actually gotten to many of the proverbs yet. We've definitely hit into some wisdom, but as far as general proverbs go, I'm waiting for the day when we actually get into like what I've always known to be the proverbs. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe I have false
I've
expectations.
always been reading Proverbs.
Yes, we're in proverbs, but like the proverbs, you know, like the Chinese proverbs, the Hindu proverbs, the proverbs.
Yeah, I think so. Please don't give me.
There are some sayings that I'm looking forward to that I've not seen yet. Anyway, if you're liking this and you want to follow along, make sure to subscribe and like and comment and all of that whatnot. Make the algorithm go crazy.
We are thankful for every one of our subscribers. We added a number of them just in the last few days. I think last time I looked, we were at 187. I mean, but that's good. You know, we're not going for numbers just for the sake of numbers. We're just going for people. That's 187 people that we can be a blessing to, that hopefully we can make their day better, help them grow closer to the Lord. That's our motivation. And if we never get any more, then hopefully those people will be blessed. It's not
I'm
about.
going to double check something because I accidentally touched something on the computer end. Did the stream interrupt anybody? Are we still live?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're still live. Okay. Because I accidentally swiped on the computer and it like moved tabs, and I just wanted to make sure we were still good. Okay. Anyway, that was chapter 10. We still have more to go. Ryan, do you want to hit chapter 11?
Sure. But my face is going to be white. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. You're kind of glitching over there.
I know. I'm trying to figure it out.
The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The righteousness of the upright shall deliver them, but transgressors shall be taken in their own naughtiness. When a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of unjust men perish. The righteous is delivered out of trouble, and the wicked cometh in his stead. The hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered. When it goeth well with the righteous, the city rejoiceth, and when the wicked perish, there is nothing. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. He that is void of wisdom, despiseth his neighbor, but a man of understanding holdeth his peace. A talebearer revealeth secrets, but he that is of a faithful spirit concealeth the matter. Where no counsel is, the people, excuse me, a little indigestion. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety. He that is surety for a stranger shall smart for it, and he that hateth suretyship is sure. A gracious woman retaineth honor, and strong men retain riches. The merciful man doeth good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubleth his own flesh. The wicked worketh a deceitful work, but to him that soweth righteousness shall be a sure reward. Its righteousness tendeth to life. So he that pursueth evil pursueth it to his own death. They that are of a froward heart are an abomination to the Lord, but such as are upright in the way they are, and the way are his delight. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered.
So I guess what it's getting at is at the end of the day, the wicked will see their punishment, and the righteous will be saved. There is a heaven and a hell, and those who choose to be wicked, they get their punishment. They die early. They end up having all of these pains, and they end up having all these results to their foolishness, and then they end up going to hell.
Yeah. There's one song that will never be my theme song, and that's Frank Sinatra. I did it my way. Well, you know what? I used to do it my way, and you know what I did? I kept messing up my life. And then God said, why don't you start doing it my way and see how things go? Well, guess what? I'm glad I finally started listening to him.
Yeah.
Because my life is way better than it was back when I was doing my own thing, my own way, trying to find love my own way. God let me become friends with Jeremiah once I started to obey him. And, I'm wearing this just real quick. And there's no law that says we got to do 3 chapters a week. If
I'm not saying we have to.
If I want to do 2 tonight, then that's all right. There's no.
If it's only 2 tonight, it's only 2. But go for it.
This shirt that I'm wearing is. It was back. These friends of mine. They used to have a bluegrass band. They were family, 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and their lives have evolved. God has brought them to new chapters in their lives. They no longer play the bluegrass music. Now they're getting married and starting families. 3 of them are getting married this year. One of them got married last month. Sorry. Joshua married his fiancée, Jordan. And on the 20th of this month, I'm going to go and attend the wedding of John Mark and his fiancée, Haley. And then in December, Naomi Sal is going to marry her fiancé. It's really been rewarding to watch them grow into adulthood to where they're getting married and starting families and moving on to new chapters in their life. But thankfully, the music they did produce, it's still out there. You can listen to them anytime. It's, just because they stopped doesn't mean you need to stop listening to them. So I'm just, they're part of God's blessing in my life, as well as a lot of other people. I don't want to start naming people because I'll leave people out. But, God has been blessing me and giving me the family that the devil stole from me. He really has been restoring it. Do you want to go ahead and do another chapter? Or wait, we're still on 11, aren't we?
Which verse are we at?
22. Because we came to a stopping place right when I turned the page, so we're on 22.
As a jeweler of gold, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the screen share on so people can see some of it.
Okay. All right. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman which is without discretion. That's a good one. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation.
That is hilarious, actually. As a jewel of gold in a swine's snout. I gotta use that sometime.
That really is good.
Woman without discretion. That is.
Yeah, she's pretty, but she's a slut.
No, it doesn't say that. It just says
without discretion. To me, without discretion means that she's loose.
No, not necessarily. Without discretion just means foolish.
Well, yeah. Well, you're right. I might be reading too much into that.
I know lots of people without discretion. Discretion is just judgment. But that is just hilarious. A jewel of gold in a swine's snout. Next time I meet a woman who is flaunting her beauty but really foolish, I'll be like, "You're like a jewel of gold in a swine's snout."
That's a good idea. That's a
It's
good
a roast. And if they're like, "How dare you?" I'm like, "Hey, Proverbs 11:22. It's actually pretty easy to remember. 11:22.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just got tickled pink over.
No, I got tickled too when I read it. The desire of the righteous is only good, but the expectation of the wicked is wrath. There is that scattereth and yet increaseth, and there is that withholdeth more than is meet. But it tendeth to poverty. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself. He that withholdeth corn, the people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. He that diligently seeketh good procureth favor, but he that seeketh mischief, it shall come unto him. He that trusteth in his riches shall fall, but the righteous shall flourish as a branch.
I think of Job when I hear that.
Yes.
Job did not trust in his riches. He had riches. He didn't trust in them. It was not his identity.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, if you trust in your money, I mean, you look at all of these, Hollywood celebrities and sports figures and entertainers that became fabulously wealthy, and when they were broke when they died. You know, and all these people that win the lottery, look how many of them go broke, and their lives end up being destroyed because of it, because they trusted in the money that they just won in the lottery. That's why I think I've maybe bought a lottery ticket once in my life.
I've thought about doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, but
I mean, so every time the intercom over the store turns on, it says, "Buy a lottery ticket. You can't win if you don't play." And then it says, "The Tennessee Lottery reminds you to play responsibly." And I'm like, "Oh man, I can't do it. I guess because it's responsible."
It's like when these liquor companies, or alcohol, they say, "Drink responsibly," and then you're like, "Is that possible? Is it possible to do that?"
You are straight up white.
But they're
like, I can't see your face at all.
Well, watch me try and jump, and you'll see how white I am. Okay.
You need to fix your lighting, dude. Like, come next episode, next week.
I can turn it off and strain my eyes. I can't see.
No. I'm not saying today. I'm saying come next week. We need to figure out better lighting. Don't strain your eyes. If you got to do what you got to do, you got to do it. But like next week, I don't know, make a more gentle light.
Look, the only thing I can do is just read off the screen. And not out of my Bible. I prefer to read out of my Bible, though, Jeremiah. But if I turn the light off, I'm hurting my eyes.
Well, we'll figure something out. We'll figure out something.
Okay.
What you need to do this time, we'll figure it out by next week because I can barely see your face.
It's not like you're going to forget what I look like.
I might, but they might.
Okay. Well, I'll only have it on when I'm actually reading.
Quick, close your eyes. What color is Ryan's eyes? Without looking back. I'm gonna say, man, I don't know. Brown or blue, but that's like 100% of the population.
They're sort of a bluish yellow.
You're not supposed to tell people. You just destroyed it. Okay. What, blue?
They're mostly blue with yellow, so they kind of come across like a sort of a green, bluish green.
I remember them being blue, but then I'm like, I can also see them being brown. So, not that you can really see eye color through the screen too much, anyways.
True.
Okay, without being a distraction, we got a few more verses to go.
All right. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. But the fool, this time it is saying and the fool shall be servant to the wise heart. Yeah, troubleth his own house.
So the other one was saying this or this. This one's saying this plus this. That's what and is. It's an addition.
Yes, it is. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he that winneth souls is wise. Behold, the righteous shall be recompensed in the earth, much more like the wicked and the sinner.
Behold, the
And that's for
righteous shall,
chapter 11.
verse 31. Behold, the righteous shall be recompensed in the earth,
Mhm.
more the wicked and the sinner. What's recompensed? Define recompensed.
I think it means rewarded, paid back, recompensed in the earth much more than the wicked and the sinner. Do your little AI thing.
Hey Siri, define recompensed.
Repent means
No.
feel.
Hey Siri, define recompensed.
I'll look it up.
It's not doing it. I'm gonna use Meta AI over Siri. Let's
Okay.
see if you can do it. Define recompensed.
Recompense means to compensate or pay someone for a loss, injury, or service.
Yeah.
It can also refer to rewarding someone for their efforts or actions. In general, recompense involves providing something, usually monetary or equivalent, to make up for something else.
Okay. So yeah, behold, the righteous shall be recompensed in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
That
Much.
sounds like a biblical quote.
It's listening in.
It is.
It is a biblical quote. Thank you, AI, for noticing. Now shut up. If you noticed, AI has that ability to, what's the word? Jabber?
Pradle.
Add, what's that word?
Prating. Be a prating.
Prating. AI has the ability to prate. If you haven't noticed already, it will just keep
It'll
going.
have conversations with
And it
you.
will do a paragraph.
It'll have full-on conversations with you.
It'll have way more than a full-on conversation. It'll have a one-sided conversation virtually.
Oh, I've never tried to have a conversation with AI before.
Yeah, more. It doesn't say more than the wicked in the sinner. It just says much more the wicked and the sinner. I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing. It's a way that I wouldn't write it, but King James. Anyway, so I'm gonna assume that's what it means. Is that all we're doing today, Ryan? Are you tuckered out?
I would say that I am tired, and because we got off to a late start, and it is almost 9.
And we did 52 minutes. We bet.
Yeah. Usually we're way under an hour. I think we did a lot more. Verse 10, you really picked that apart, verse by verse by verse.
You had me read it, and when you have me read something, I start jabbering on.
That's okay. That's okay. If we had started at a regular time, I had a long day. I worked well over 10 hours today, and I'm tired.
You darn tuckered out. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. That is the entire show today. Make sure that you subscribe, like, comment. I had one guy on one of my videos who just started going crazy on a video. I had 40 comments in the first hour.
Yeah, the one from Saturday night that you uploaded. And by the way,
I'm going to respond to all of them. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
And by the way, these videos that Jeremiah is uploading on Saturday nights are archive videos. Some of them he did 2, maybe as much as 3 years ago. What are we thinking? 2023 for most of them?
I don't know, but they're really good, and they're on a channel that's kind of dead. I posted them there. That channel never grew, and I never really tried to grow it. And so good content.
It came back to life.
Yeah, it needs to come over here. And so I figured these people haven't seen this. It's really good content.
Yeah.
Let's reuse it.
That was a great idea. And your first video, you're criticizing the high priest of atheism, and so his people are going to come to his defense.
Yeah, my dad was like, why are you getting so many comments on this? And I'm like, I just picked on Richard Dawkins.
Like I said, the high priest of atheism.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a really good one. He's trying to pick apart the Bible, and I bash him. So go over there and see, be your own judge on, how good I did. And then every Saturday I'm going to be bashing somebody else. And if you have any recommendations on that, feel free to comment. Hey, I would like you to react to so and so, and give me a video link or give me the name of the video, and who knows, maybe we'll go up there. So with that said, we're out. I'm gonna go and hit the end button, end stream, and
everyone have a blessed night. May God be with you all.
We're done. You should have said that earlier.
No, sometimes it goes longer than you think